part 2 of the video, assuming you've built all these bits already. Make sure you open your model again and make sure you're in assembly mode, and make sure if you've got any traffic lights you've ticked them and that there's no traffic lights appearing here. Okay. Obviously I'm hoping you opened up your assembly from last week if you're joining this for a second lesson, but if you're just carrying on, it should already be open. Right, what we're going to do today is we're actually going to assemble these now. We're going to join them together in 3D, and then we're going to learn how to add on some of the extra features like rounded edges and how to colour it and make it look cool and finished and presented. So, before you can move anything, at the moment if you click and drag on any of these guys, you'll see they're kind of fixed in 3D space. We need to tell the program that, and that's what this little F means, by the way, fixed. We need to unfix them. So we're going to right click on each of them, and we're going to go down and choose float. See, that's got rid of the F and it's now a minus, and you'll notice I can now move that part around. What I might do actually is leave, if you've got a panel that's got a shadow on it, leave that one fixed. So I'm going to leave the middle fixed. So I'm just going to pick my rear speaker and leave it floating. Make that float as well. So to reiterate, the one with the shadow, which is probably the middle, should be fixed and you shouldn't be able to move it. And the ones that aren't, you can move them around. All right. And the reason I wanted you to leave the middle one fixed, it's so the shadow appears in the right place when we do our pictures later on. If you can't see any shadows, then you can go up here and you can turn them off, look, or you can turn them on. Anyway, at least 2 of them should be floating. Right. You then need to make sure you're on the assembly tab, and we're going to choose mate. Now mate allows you to pick 2 bits and kind of glue them together or align them, and you're going to need to get good at moving your mouse around to use these. So I know this is the front and this is the middle, and I know that the back side of this would need to stick onto the front side of this. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over. So I'm using the middle mouse button to move my view, holding it down. I'm going to click the back of that, rotate my view round, and I'm going to click the front of that. And can you see what that's done? It's lined them up that way, okay? They're not quite in position, but we've done one direction. So we click the tick up here when we're happy. Right, the next thing is I know that this face would come up flush with that face. So I'm going to pick the 2. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to click that. There we go. Sorry, my computer's lagging a bit. I'm asking a lot of it. Good. So can you see it's now aligned front to back and left to right? So click the tick. So at the moment, if I try and drag it, look, I can only move it up and down. I can't move it left to right. I can't move it back and forth. I can only slide it up and down. So I need to put one more mate on it, and that's between the 2 tops. So I'm going to spin my view around, click the top of that, click the top of that, and you see that brings it into a line. And click the tick when you're done. Okay. Now this is the bit where you're absolutely most likely to go wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click the X to say I'm done with the tick tool. If you have mated it wrong and say you've stuck it the wrong way round, you'll have to go out of mate mode into mates down here. And can you see this shows all the mates you've made? Look, there's the one where I glued the 2 faces, there's the one where I glued the sides, there's the one where I glued the top. You can delete these if you need to. So if you've really stuffed it, I suggest you go into mates and delete all of them and start again. Okay, I'm going to leave them because I'm happy. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to mate the back bit onto the middle as well. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to mate. The back one's easy. And I'm going to pick that. And that would touch against that. There we go, click the tick. I'm going to pick this edge. So it's that face, sorry, this face and this face. Bring them into alignment, click the tick. And rotate my view, I'm going to pick the top and the top. And click the tick. Oh, sorry, I didn't select it. There we go, click the tick. Okay. Once you've done that, you have mated and assembled your whole object, which is really, really good. And if you've done it right, if you grab any of it, it shouldn't move, okay? When you're happy with your mates, just click the X up here or that X up there to say you're done with the tool. And now we're going to start to add in some of the finishing features. So good time to save your work. And because we're going to add these features to the whole assembly, we don't need to go in and edit any of the individual parts anymore, although you could do. You'll see under assembly there should be an assembly features tab with a drop down. We're going to mostly be dealing with, in fact completely dealing with fillets today. So fillets is like a way of rounding an edge. So choose a fillet tool. The first fillet we're going to do is, you might remember we put the router, when you're in the workshop, the tool that rounded over this edge. Now, so click that circle. We don't want to do it as big as that. We want probably about 3mm. So type 3, that looks about right. When you're happy with it, click the tick, and already that's starting to look much nicer. Now, the rest of it, you can go a little bit on your own. A lot of you, I said, why don't you round off one corner to make it look good? So we're going to do that now. I'm going to go assembly, fillet, and you need to be a bit careful what you select. So only click when you're confident the mouse is in the right place. If I click there, that will fillet the whole square. If I click there, it will fillet just the corner. So I'm going to click on that corner. You see what it's going to do, that corner and that corner. At the moment it's doing them all three. I want to be a bit more than that, so I'm going to do 15. Click on the screen to see what that looks like. Maybe, yeah, I'm going to do 20, see how that looks. Is that too extreme? Yeah, 20 is about right. Click tick. All good. Right, I also told you for a high quality product I wanted you to round all the other edges. So we're going to do that. We're going to go assembly, fillet. And this one takes a little bit longer, but if you click on this front face, now it probably won't do anything because 20 is selected, so you have to go down here and choose, let's just do 2mm. That looks about right. By the way, if the preview isn't showing up like mine, I should have said this earlier, it might be set to no preview. So you've got partial or full preview, so make sure you've got full preview turned on. So I'm going to fillet that at 2mm. I'm going to fillet the whole back face to do that. And then I'm going to do these edges. So I'm going to do, you have to be careful, not the face, but the edge. There we go. That. You have to be very precise with your mouse. That. Rotate my view around. Because I'm lazy, I'm trying to do it all in one hit. But you could do one at a time. That one. That one. That one. Now I'm deliberately going to stuff up here. I'm going to accidentally select that. Now I don't want that filleted. If you made a mistake, you can just go over here. Look, that last one, face 3, we didn't want. So right click it and choose delete. There we go. So you can always go back without having to click everything again. And then I'm going to pick bottom edge, bottom edge, bottom edge. Okay, let's just give that a quick look around. Is that what I wanted? Yep. When you're happy, click the tick. Good. And now we have a finished assembly, and it looks a lot better for having the filleted edges. So save your work. And the last step is we're simply going to colour this guy in. So there's several ways of colouring it, but we want to apply a colour to the, or a texture I should say, to the whole thing. So we're going to go up here where it says assembly, right click, and you'll see there's a little appearances tab. Click the little arrow, and then we're going to apply an appearance to the whole assembly. So just click on speaker. Right, it might take a while to load, but when it does, on the right you will get something looking like this, okay? May look slightly different. I would choose texture, if it'll let you. And then we're going to go down, we're going to make it wood. So obviously you can make it any colour you like, but I would like you to make it a little realistic. So wood is an organic material, and the type of wood we used was walnut. And you'll see it's got all these different textures for walnuts, and if you click them, you'll see you get different effects. Now the one I chose was polished walnut. You've got like end grain, which doesn't look how we made it. This one doesn't look great. That one, the pattern doesn't really add up, so I'm going to go polished walnut for mine, but really I'm not too fussy. I'm going to let you choose, okay? Good, so choose polished walnut, and then just click the tick when you're happy, and there we have it. We have made our first 3D part. All I want from you for proof is some images of that, and I'm going to show you how to set it up a bit nicer for images. If you go to this one, you can choose a plain white background, which is quite nice. If you go to this one, you can choose perspective view, which is quite good. Perspective makes it look like it would do in actual 3D, as in like things in the distance get smaller as they go further away. It also brightens up the lighting. You can mess around. You could put it on a rooftop if you want and give it this fancy background. You could put it in a courtyard. All right, looks a bit washed out though. In a playground. So anyway, I reckon plain white or rooftop looks quite good. And then I just want you to screen grab it. Okay, so to screen grab, easiest way is the Windows key, Shift and S all at the same time. Press them and let go. Drag a box around it, and then copy and paste that onto the OneNote page that your teacher told you to. I'd like you to also do another view just to prove you did the inside without cheating, because I know it's possible to make this and pretend you've cut out that complicated bit on the inside. I'm going to show you the section view now, which is really cool. So up here, fourth tool along, you've got this thing called section view. Sorry, I'm just going to press escape and do that again. It will do a section from whatever face you've clicked. So if I select the first face and then press section, you'll see it's got this arrow here, all right, and these arrows. If I drag this middle arrow backwards, can you see what it's doing? It's cutting our view in half. It's taking a slice through it. What's cool is you can also drag these, look, and do it at an angle if you wanted to really show off. But I'm just going to leave it more or less vertical. Okay. Click the tick, and that's taken a nice cross section, which I'm then going to screen grab, and then I can prove to my teacher that I did the difficult bit on the inside. All right, so I'd like at least 1 or 2 views in 3D, 1 view with it sliced, and then just have a play around with the section tool, because it's quite a cool tool. I like it. It's really useful if you're building a complicated model, because you can see what's going on inside and you can check that things fit. All right, you can get some really useful pictures to explain your idea to someone as well. All right, so anyway, so for instance, if you were a designer, you might be going, all right, Mr. Bossman, I'm a little bit concerned about this little bit in here. I don't think it's going to be strong enough to hold the phone. Could we design it to be a bit thicker? All right, this is how kind of engineers and designers will work with this program and why it has all these cool tools in it. Okay, so anyway, congratulations if you've got this far. You've built this in 3D. Building it in real life should be a doddle. Just make sure you have uploaded your images to the OneNote as your teacher told you, otherwise you won't get any credit for doing all that hard work.